on the streets, live, uncut, unedited, what you expect out of what you expect. You know what? With the almost every year in this country, on some level, we have an election. All right, and I've been doing some serious thinking about this. You know, people all the time are saying how messed up, screwed up, and point blank fucked up things are in this country, and how broken and corrupt the system is. All right. Well, you know what? Right now, I'm registered in Democrat, but I'm still an independent at heart. All right. I still do things like an indie, and I think the first step that we have to take towards fixing our government and fixing things in this country, one of the first major steps is, especially in when it comes to candidates and politicians, is, you know what, we're operating on in some areas like elections on concepts that are so far outdated it's not even funny. I mean, this isn't even a joke how far in the past of a system we're operating on. And the main one I want to touch on is, and this is something that really pisses me off here in Pennsylvania, honestly. The first one I want to touch on is the fact that we have the two-party system. You know what? It's time to get rid of it. Okay? I was registered independent. The only reason why I switched to a Democrat is because here in Allentown with the local elections, you kind of have to. Honestly, I hate to say it, you have to be a Democrat or Republican. And the reason for that is because Pennsylvania is operating on an archaic system where in the primary, we're allowed to choose our leaders. No, we're not. Not here in Pennsylvania, we're not. Because if you don't feel like being a Democrat or Republican, you're not allowed to vote in the primaries. Period. Wow. Well, you're you're a registered voter. You're a United States citizen. You're a resident of the state, but you know what? Fuck you when it comes to choosing our leaders, when it comes to the primary elections. That's essentially what our governor and what our representatives are saying to you. Point blank. All right? I try to keep the language out of it, but there are certain cases like this one where it's like, hey, guess what? I'm pissed. All right? This pisses me off. Why is it, why is it that just because you don't feel like being a label or having a label put on you, that you can't help to choose the leaders of our of any election in the state, from local level on up? Oh, well, you can in the main. You can in the main. Well, in certain areas, in certain sections, like here, especially here in Allentown, and here in the Lehigh Valley in general, some of the races are decided in the primaries because you don't have, like within a long-term incumbent, you don't have, uh, you may not have an opponent running against them from the opposite party. All right, and this happens a lot with the Democrats where, hey, guess what? I started covering the elections in 2015 in the Valley and beyond. That was my introduction, the local side. And you know what? It's stupid because, oh wow, I was an independent and I wasn't allowed to vote to choose some of our leaders on the local and the county level because I didn't feel like switching my party to a Democrat. This is flat out bullshit. You know what I mean? So one of the first things we need to look at in this country is, you know what? And I know politicians, this scares the living hell out of them. Because I went on Facebook 2 years ago and I went right at Mike Schlossberg. I went right at Pete Schreier, Allentown state representatives, and said, will you please introduce legislation to eliminate this in Pennsylvania, to open up the primaries? You know what? Those two are so afraid of losing their jobs that they wouldn't even do it. Okay? So, and you know what? They can come right at me. This is the way I see it. This is why this is an editorial. This is my opinion. This is the way I see things. This is my experiences. So, seriously, I mean, take a look. No matter what party affiliation you are, no matter if you're a registered voter and you're a U.S. citizen who has every right to choose our leaders, the people who lead you and who make the choices about our laws and everything in this country from local level on up, I'm asking you, please, look at things from the outside in and see if I'm right. That maybe it is time we started looking at the people. All right? We started getting off our lazy asses and learning about the candidates, not just through what the media tells us, but by going to their events. By I'm actually heading over to a petition signing right now, both to cover it and also to learn about local candidates who I may or may not be voting for. So seriously, learn. If you want, it's time that every single United States citizen and registered voter started being a part of the country and our government and saying, you know what, we don't care about we don't care what party you belong to. We care about what you are going to do for whatever's important to us as an individual, as a community, as a town, city, state, country, as a whole. What are you going to try to do for us? How are you going to try to make things better for ourselves, for our families, for our community, etc.? Only then can we start fixing the real problems from the local level on up. Michael Phoenix, founder of Surreal Veil City and its predecessor, A Valley and Beyond, entire staff of Surreal Veil City. Thank you so much to the people who financially sponsor the magazine, and to all the people who supported me in other ways in the magazines for over the past 3.5 years. To everybody who the page views and everything around the globe, thank you so much. Without you, there'd be no point. It's going to be a gorgeous weekend here in Lehigh Valley. Enjoy it. Later.